Oh, welcome back to Leafs Weekly. We're going to sum up on today's episode what's been a busy start to the month of June for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the busy start to the month continues later on this week, but while we have a day off here, we're going to get you all caught up on the action. Let's start right here. The Toronto Maple Leafs against the Brantford Red Sox. After the Maple Leafs were down early on in this game, they just kept finding a way to battle back. And with the game tied 7-7 and Jordan Castaldo's milestone 100th home run on the line, he delivered.
The Maple Leafs, that would be it. I got to Castaldo hammers this ball high and deep to left field, and that is number 100 for Jordan Castaldo in his Intercounty Baseball League career.
And did he ever stop and admire it? Castaldo off the bat knew that was clearing the wall. Cover off the baseball in the early innings.
Justin Marra gets into this one, high and deep to left, and gone!
And those back-to-back home runs would effectively win the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They'd come away with a 9-8 victory against the Brantford Red Sox. After the game, I talked to Justin Marra and Mr. 100 home runs, Jordan Castaldo, about the milestone. Jordan, we'll just start with the home run. I know it was a big one, and I know that's probably what you're thinking about, but can I just go back to, hitting 100 in the Intercounty Baseball League? Do you ever think, coming into the IBL that you'd be a 100 home run here?
No, never thought of it that way. Never looked at it that way. Never put a countdown on it. Just love playing the game, and just like putting good swings on balls and seeing them go over the fence. It's always fun, but I can't sit here and say that it was a goal or anything like that. It's nice to have it happen. I've been doing it for a long time, so but just circle back. It was never a goal, but it's nice to reach that milestone.
Also, Jordan Castaldo gets home run number 100 today. Just playing with him for so many years, what have you kind of seen from him? What's kind of impressed you about him?
Honestly, his approach. From when he was playing in Barrie, we were trying to find a way to get him out, to seeing it on our end. It's impressive what he does. You see it in batting practice. You see his approach. He puts good swings on balls. He sees it deep. He never gets fooled out there. And to have 100 in this league is definitely an accomplishment, and it's great to see.
What are you going to do with the 100 home run ball?
Combination. I'd probably give it to my dad. Probably put it on the mantelpiece at my parents' house for, with the rest of the stuff I've accumulated over the years. But if it's not there, it'll just be at the condo on the, on the entertainment unit or something. But definitely, first thought is just give it to my dad because I think he'll appreciate it the most.
Oh, I thought it was really cool to see Jordan Castaldo hit that home run 100 in the Intercounty Baseball League. How about that? But the one thing I think we are missing from this game is how we got to this point. And with the Toronto Maple Leafs down by 3 runs and runners on second and third, in steps Dan Marra.
Yeah, he's a very strong and very smart hitter.
Dan Marra gets into this one, deep to left, and gone! Dan Marra leaves the yard, and the Maple Leafs have tied it up.
Talk about something we don't see too often. Dan Marra gets a hold of one.
Well, Dan Marra doesn't always come up to the plate trying to hit a home run, but put a good swing on the ball, and sometimes they leave the yard. And in that situation there, Toronto Maple Leafs needed that 3-run home run from Dan Marra. After the game, his brother Justin, he knew it was gone all the way, right, Justin?
No. Honestly, I went back to tag because I've seen so few of them that I actually went back to tag. But no, he definitely put a good swing on that ball, and it was a huge home run for us for sure.
Yeah, it sure was. The Toronto Maple Leafs go on to win the game. They beat Brantford. Now they've won 3 games in a row. But this story wasn't over. The very next game against the Guelph Royals, the Maple Leafs, this time down by 1 run, nobody on base, and Dan Marra came up big again.
I do have a feeling.
This might be one of them. High, deep, left field, gone! Home runs in back-to-back games for Dan Marra.
So your brother Justin, on the home run you hit against Brantford, he said that he went back to tag at third base because he'd seen so few home runs from you. What do you say to him?
I told him right away that was a lie. He knew that was gone. They're still looking for that ball over by the kiddie pool. So he knows that was a shot. And this one I think I got a little bit better today. So he tries to be funny sometimes, but he's not that funny.
He's kind of funny sometimes. The Toronto Maple Leafs had lots of smiles after this game. They scored 14 runs. They win 14-11 over the Guelph Royals. That made it a 4-game win streak for the Toronto Maple Leafs. More post-game reaction from Dan Marra and Dustin Richardson. Dan, you've hit home runs in back-to-back games, and they weren't just any home runs. They tied the ball game both times. They were huge shots. Where is this power coming from Dan Marra?
I was just telling you, I got a resistance band at the station at work. So, no, honestly, I haven't changed anything. I got a little, I guess we'll call them luck. If you put good swings on balls, every once in a while, you know, I had a college coach one time who always told me that home runs were accidents. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that, you know, if you're staying middle and putting good swings on balls, every once in a while you're going to catch one out front and it's going to leave the yard. So, you know, I'd like to think that's mostly it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, I got a new protein powder. And
okay.
So who knows?
Dan Marra hasn't been known as a home run hitter in the Intercounty Baseball League, but he has 2 big home runs, maybe the 2 biggest home runs of the year that he's had. Both of them have tied the ball game. What can you say about just the approach that he's brought to the team these last couple of games?
Yeah, you know, Dan was a guy we talked in the offseason, we thought about moving more into a secondary role, but, you know, he's been playing outstanding for us. He's actually, you know, one of our best players on the team this year. And I personally apologized to him. I said, I'm sorry I doubted you, because Dan has been a good team leader, good teammate, and he's been great. He's been great for us all around. And as you can see, we moved him to the 2-hole because he has good quality at bats, and it shows. And when you have good quality at bats, you know, Dan, does a good job, you know, getting the head out, and good things happen here when you do that, and you get the ball in the air at Christie Pitts.
Because the one today I owed the boys, because I made a terrible error in the top half of that inning, and you know what? A lot of runs got hung up on Willie's line, and he pitched better than that. And you know what? If that double play gets turned, we probably get out of that inning. So to be honest, as far as my mental approach, it's pretty frustrated going into that at bat the way the top half of the inning went. Not that I let that change my approach, but you know, I felt like I owed the boys that one. So I was happy to get it for the team. I mean, like, as far as statistics go, I don't, you know, if they're home runs or doubles or singles, I don't care. But really, like I said, it's just about having a good approach. I try and take it up the middle every time, and if I catch it out front, I catch it out front. So yeah, nothing changes for me, to be honest. So.
Dustin Richardson is going to enter into a rather difficult situation here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A 1-run ball game, bases loaded, nobody out. We'll have that when we come back.
Coming into what seems like an impossible situation, bases loaded, nobody out, knowing that you pretty much have to strike out the side, what's going through your mind in a situation like that?
First of all, shout out to Brian Sewell, greatest manager move ever. You know, going to me that early. But honestly, the pressure's on the hitters in that situation. It's bases loaded. It's their job to get the guys in. So for me, I'm calm out there, but the juices are flowing. And if I just throw with conviction and stay aggressive and make some pitches, good things can happen.
The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Big punch out from Dustin Richardson. The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Blew it right by him.
Perfect pitch right there from Richardson.
With an 0-2 count on Ashton Patterson, trying to strand all 3 Guelph Royals, and he did it. Strike 3. Dustin Richardson punches out the side and saves the day for the Toronto Maple Leafs. How about that?
Yeah, I can't say enough. Richie's done a lot behind the scenes, all winter, putting a roster together, and he sort of took this role that we couldn't fill and really steered the ship in the right direction. So I can't say enough of good things about him as far as what he's done, putting the team together and trusting some of the vet guys and bringing us back and making it all work. And obviously what you see on the mound is that's just vintage Richie. Came in a huge spot, close ball game, even though I felt like, it was a close ball game. It just was an 11-10 at the time. So he comes in and does his thing, and it just, man, it's so nice to have as a ball club, to have a guy that can just shorten ball games like that. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about that outing.
That was a monster outing from one of the IBL greats, Dustin Richardson, to come in that situation. Well, 1-run ball game, the bases loaded and nobody out, and strike out the side. He threw 2 balls to the first batter he faced and then punched out the side with all strikes in the next 2 batters he faced. He just looked absolutely dominant. But one of the biggest success stories for Dustin Richardson, who is a pitcher but also happens to be the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has been one of the young guys he's brought into this team, John Javier. He has just been phenomenal for the Maple Leafs this season and climbing the leaderboard everywhere, whether it comes to IBL average, OPS, or even the amount of hits that he's been able to put together for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. An OPS well over 1,000. Here's Coach Rob Butler on what he likes about the Maple Leafs young import.
Oh, he's so scrappy and just fun to watch, and he brings tons of energy. Another guy who's kind of undersized but plays with a huge heart. He's come up with lots of big hits. I mean, even with his catching, he's been fantastic. He knows how to call a game, and he's strong with his receiving and throwing guys out. So he's got a great arm, which is intimidating for guys who want to try to steal bases on us. So we have a great tandem with catching with Justin and him. And Justin's kind of the old leader, pro guy, and he's got a protege coming up with him. So I mean, he's been a huge addition. It kind of happened by accident with Justin getting hurt there for a little bit. So it's been a nice find, a nice grab for us to make our team. I mean, it's showing we're going to be above 500 here soon, and be the team that's really tough to beat in the playoffs.
Well, despite batters like John Javier staying hot over the weekend stretch, the Maple Leafs had a brutal 3-3 weekend with a Friday night game and a night game all the way out in Chatham, Kent to play the Barnstormers. And then to make matters worse, they have to play the top team in the Intercounty Baseball League this year, the Welland Jackfish, on a Sunday afternoon game at Christie Pitt. So the Maple Leafs would go on to lose 2 games in a row. And to kind of sum up this weekend for the Maple Leafs that continues to get busier, here's Brian Sewell.
Well, it's been a busy weekend for the boys. We're going to have 5 games in 6 days. We had a late night last night. Everybody got home at about 2:30 in the morning. Had to be at the park today. We had an optional BP. Running out of arms a little bit there too. But you know what? It's a good team that we just played well in. You got to tip your cap sometimes. And today wasn't our day, and it definitely was theirs. So some positives there too. Marcus Connect's still on fire. Dan Marra is still hitting really well. Like there's some positives to be taken away from that as well. So.
Just on the topic of Marra and Connect and some of the veteran guys on this Maple Leafs team, it feels like they're the guys that have really had an impact on this team this season. Were you guys surprised how well some of these veteran guys are playing on the team this year, or was this something that was expected coming into the year?
They're all elite athletes. All those guys have played D1 ball, minor league ball, right? They all know the process, and I think that this winter they all worked really hard, right? Like we really want to win this year, and I think we have the team to do it. So.
Is this kind of an opportunity this week to try and get back on track? I know you got 2 more games. You only got 1 day off of rest in between the 2 games. Is that a blessing or a curse, do you think, for the Maple Leafs this week?
We're pretty deep in pitching, so I'm hoping that we have some more arms for the Tuesday-Wednesday game. I think we're going to be fine, right? We'll just keep battling it. We'll have Jordan Castaldo back on Tuesday, which is a big piece of our batting lineup. So there's no reason we can't come away with 2 wins, I think, this week. I think all heads are high. Right? Our guys know that we have a good team, and we just got to, stay positive, stay on track, and keep doing what we're doing, keep grinding games out. It's going to happen. I like our team, and I feel really positive about this year. So.
Last couple nights, Friday night and today, you've been a little animated with the umpire. You think that's going to help the boys out with some motivation?
I hope so. Yeah, I do it more so they feel like they don't need to do it, right? We need to keep guys in games, and you don't want to go out there and argue calls, and I try to be respectful when I do it, but that way they feel like they don't need to. I can go out there, and if an umpire wants to toss me, we're fine. But yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah, Coach Brian Sewell has found himself in the middle of the action at Christie Pitt on the field a couple times for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I know his teammates appreciate it. He's got their back out there on the field at Christie Pitt. So Brian also mentioned the busy schedule that's coming up for the Maple Leafs. It just keeps on getting busier. They've got a Tuesday night game at Arnold Anderson Stadium against the Brantford Red Sox this week, and then 1 day later at Christie Pitt on Wednesday night against the Barrie Baycats.